Whenever you see text that appears to be attached to a moving object or follows the movement of the camera, that is done with tracking. There are basic tracking features in softwares like Premiere Pro, and they will often allow you to create masks that follow areas of a shot when color correcting or blurring faces, for example. But After Effects creates a lot more data and can tackle more complex shots. There are different kinds of tracking. There's 2D, which I'll run through in this video, 3D, and I'll also show you Mocha, which is probably the best option. So I'll walk you through how I would approach this shot here. So I have my text animation here as a pre-comp, and I can make the edits to it like what the text says, the speed, colors, thickness, and so on. And of course you have access to download this template. Before we bring this into the equation, we first need to track our footage. So to do that, select your layer, go over to the tracker window in our workspace on the right, and again, if that's not visible, go up to the window and make sure it's checked. Then click Track Motion. This will bring us into the Layer tab of our composition panel, and we're then presented with this square box here. On the right, we have a few options to check which will depend on the movement of our shot. If we're approaching or moving away from the object, then we would want to check the scale, since that means our tracking data would have to reflect that. And if the level changes, then we would select rotation. I initially chose this shot so that all of these would be checked so I can show you how they work. Whenever we have either scale or rotation checked, that will create a second box. And the reason for this is that it needs 2 points of reference to figure out how to accurately measure the change in scale and rotation. So go ahead and expand the outer box here. Then move it over an area in your shot that has a lot of contrast so that the tracker will easily be able to distinguish it from the surrounding areas. Then repeat those steps for the other tracking point and be sure to place it on the opposite side of the object or the opposite side of the frame. Next, we need to create a null object. So right click in this area down here and select Null Object. Let's name it Tracking Data. Then go to the beginning of your composition, and before we hit play over here in the tracking window, make sure that our null is recognized by clicking Edit Target and select our null, which we named Tracking Data. Then hit play. It'll then take some time analyzing the shot, and you'll see that it's following the movements. Once it's complete, scrub through the shot and make sure that the path looks good, then hit Apply, then yes to the X and Y, and now you'll see that the tracking data, which is essentially keyframes it generated for you, are applied to our layer and, more importantly, our null object. Now let's select our composition with the text animation from the import panel and drag it onto our comp. Then we can adjust the position and scale in the frame. Then parent our text composition to our null object. And now when we play it back, you'll see that the text will follow the track. Looks great.